Okay, now that we know about the two ways to write rules for arithmetic sequences, explicit and recursive, let's translate between them. So here in part A, we're given this recursive definition, a sub n equals 3 when n equals 1, and then a sub n minus 1 plus 5 for all of your terms greater than 1. What is an explicit definition for the sequence? So just a reminder, explicit definition has the form a sub n equals a1 plus common difference times n minus 1. If you know the a1 first term and the common difference, you can write an explicit formula. So in a recursive, where do you find that first term? That's when n equals 1. N equals 1 means the first term. So n equals 1, the first term is 3. So we know the first term is 3. Do we know the common difference? Well, in a recursive formula, they tell you a sub n minus 1. Take the previous term and do something to it. Add a 0.5. Then you take the previous term and you add a 0.5. You're always adding a 0.5 to the previous term. So that is your common difference, 0.5. So now we'll just plug those in. Our explicit definition, I'm mixing up words. Explicit definition, explicit formula, explicit rule, all kind of the same idea. So a sub n equals a sub 1, our first term is 3, plus our common difference is 0.5 times n minus 1. And there is an explicit definition for the same arithmetic sequence given from that recursive rule up there. Okay, given the explicit definition, a sub n equals 16 minus 3 times n minus 1, what is the recursive definition? So recursive definition, we'll just want to remember what that looks like. So it starts out a sub n equals, we'll get one of these bigger brackets that has two lines. In the first line is the first term. So where do we find the first term in an explicit definition? If you remember, the first term is going to be that first number right there. So our first term is 16, and our recursive definition will equal 16 when n equals 1, the first term. The first term is 16. Okay, now what we do in a recursive definition is we tell you what to do to the previous term. So we're going to take the previous term, a sub n minus 1, and then we're going to add a common difference, subtract a common difference. This in front of the n minus 1, this is where we find the common difference for an explicit definition, because it's minus 3 that tells us that it is a negative 3. So you are subtracting 3 to get from one term to the next. So we're going to subtract 3. We're going to do this for all the terms after 1. N is greater than 1. And there we have a recursive definition for the same arithmetic sequence given to us with this explicit definition.